since I lived in Corbett Hall and then 2 years as a RA in Allison Hall. And so this was sort of our hood. You know, CSU, frankly, was the friendliest, nicest, most open campus. We weren't treated this well anywhere else on that tour, and it was the only place I got accepted. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I got accepted at one of the Montana universities. I forgot which one. I never regretted that decision one bit. The person who has had the biggest impact, I think, is my father. I think what I really learned from him, what I really wrapped my soul around really was his passion and concern for the environment. The most transformative climb I think I ever did was in some ways my final climb. I'm still climbing, but the final big one. And it was when I was up in Alaska with my partner Jim Danini and climbing a new route on an unclimbed peak. And right at the very top, literally the last hard section, something came down and hit me and knocked me off, and I fell a couple hundred feet and shattered my legs and was bleeding. And Jim had to, we tried to self-rescue, it didn't work. Jim had to chop out a ledge for me on the ice and leave me there anchored to the mountain, and then he descended and went down to flag down a plane. And when I was taken off, my legs were broken but also frozen solid. The physical transformation is obvious, all of a sudden I'm an amputee, but I think the psychological transformation was what was so much bigger. For me, you know, all my friends, all my business associates gathered around to help in many, many different ways, but also it made me look outward from what I was doing. I owned a business that I was really engaged with, but it made me change my focus from running the business to working in the nonprofit space, and started a nonprofit called Paradox Sports, which helps people with disabilities get out and go rock climbing and ice climbing and cycling and fishing and all that other stuff. My advice for graduates or people who want to get into the field is, number one, make sure you're passionate about it. Be passionate about what you do, and if you lose your passion for your job and whatever agency or company you're working for, try to have a transformative experience. You don't have to cut off a leg or anything, but you know, it's time to hit the reset button and do that. And the second part of my advice would be to really, really invest in your network. You know, my dad, again, coming back to him, he was always fond of paraphrasing Mark Twain when he said, never let school get in the way of your education. And you know, school enables your education. Mark Twain was wrong. I don't think school gets in the way of your education. I think school, college in particular, enables your education and your introduction to life. And it's all about learning to learn, learning to love, learning to play, all of that.